Yeah, it does look good. Did you tell Bob his hair looks nice too? Bob's got a different haircut too.
The product did you do that? Yeah, you didn't come to my haircut. I'm cross. I got up 20 minutes early to do that.
Oh, that did really make sense.
We should take a picture.
I was looking at it.
We stopped before I got here. Why you was above?
Good morning and welcome to the Walton County Technical Review Committee meeting for January 22nd, 2020. First item of business this morning is approval of the January 8th TRC minutes. Do we have any recommended adjustments to those minutes?
I don't see any, Mac.
Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve, excuse me.
Motion to approve the December 18th, 2019 TRC minutes.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? The motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Karen, do we have any announcements this morning, Rachel? January 8th, sorry.
Oh, I apologize. I was reading the minutes of the January 8th minutes. So let me revise or can I rescind my motion and state that I'd like to make a motion to approve the January 8th meetings minutes, which approved the December 18th minutes. There we go.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? We've now approved the January 8th minutes also. Moving right into project review. First item on our agenda this morning, the Walmart exterior modification. We got a request to continue to February 5th, 2020.
Yes, Mac. After speaking with Public Works in Dewberry, we're of the opinion that we should table this item because we've already continued about 5 times and they haven't provided any new information at this point. So our recommendation would be to table it.
Okay, we have a recommended to table. Do we have anybody representing the applicant this morning? I guess we'll have no objection from the applicant for tabling. We'll entertain a motion to table this item. It can be re-advertised when it's ready to be reheard.
Motion to table.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion carried. This item is tabled. It can be re-advertised when it's ready to be heard again. Item number 3 on our agenda is Los Rancheros at Santa Rosa Beach. We have a request to continue to February 5th, 2020. Applicant concur?
Yes, we just wanted to state that anything you guys can do to help us move forward. This was kind of unforeseen with the major development order based on the thoughts that we were now minor. So they're having some issues with having to extend leasing and things. So anything we could do to speed up a little bit would be greatly appreciated.
We have a request to continue. Do we have a motion?
Motion to continue.
We have a motion to continue to February 5th. We have a second.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to February 5th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to item number 4, the Miramar Beach Hotel Amendment.
Okay, good morning, thank you, sorry. They resubmitted and new comments were issued from our last meeting. There's still, lighting and landscaping comments from planning, even though they have uploaded a new landscape plan. And there's an additional comment from Dewberry, and they've since resubmitted. Mark resubmitted on Friday to address these comments, so that it hasn't been routed out yet. I will do that today to route it out, but I want the committee to know that they did respond to this comment, and with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Morning, Mark Steiner, Choctaw Engineering. Regarding the planning department comments, I think, Tim, I sent you an email basically clarifying that the information that was provided in the plans was correct. I just don't think you interpreted the numbers correctly. The clarification between the 37% and the 28%. That was just you were looking at the overall landscaping for the site, and it is the 28%, and the 37% is the percentage of the interior landscaping area. So both of those numbers are correct. You're just looking at you're comparing two different numbers, and they're not the same number. The lighting plan will provide, because we've got to go to DRB. I just didn't want to have the lighting plan done and then have to make changes to the plans based on whatever comments we got. And I think I sent, Bill, did you get my email regarding the comment that you made about the pop-off at 12?
Yeah, I've received your email. I just hadn't had a chance to look at it.
Okay, I mean, basically what it is this is a new comment. We provided an outlet for the water to get out of that back of that property. Back of that property is in a very small, isolated, closed basin to some extent. The backyard of the adjacent properties were designed and built at a time when stormwater really wasn't a concept in this county. And I can't fix the fact that those properties are at that elevation. We don't have a pop-off at elevation 12 right now because of the fact that it has to go overland across our property to get out towards the DOT. So we're providing an outlet. I think by my calculations, what I showed you was that we're only filling in an area on our property about, I think it was like 3,700 square feet and about 2 inches deep. And that's before it gets to elevation 12, because, I mean, we're talking about just a matter of mere inches here. So I understand the comment as far as the fact that we're not providing a pop-off in order to basically provide what I would call positive outfall. Our intent isn't to do that. That area is a wetland. All that water is going toward that area, and it's going to be wet no matter what. If I do nothing on that property, it's going to be wet. Does that make sense?
Right, but you are doing something, and we're going to try not to exacerbate that flooding issue. So I think
But I'm
with
taking.
the outfall, if we can lower it, I think you'll be able to provide positive outfall lower than elevation 12, because I think the spot elevations on the other side of the neighbor's fence range from 11.4 to 11.8. So we're
Yeah.
staging up 6 inches on his property, and we've basically took away capacity from that low area, if you will. The prior plans had a retaining wall, and we didn't impact any of those wetlands. So it kind of, the capacity didn't change. So in order to try to make this a better situation from the impacts to the wetlands and removing all the trees, which also help absorb water and everything, we want to try to provide a little more positive outfall to
But
DOT because we can.
They didn't provide any positive outfall because of the fact that they didn't provide any way to connect that back of the property towards the front of the property. They had no. So if you look at the plans, it actually stages up higher than that, because I'm providing them a way to get water out at 12. they provided no way to get the water out of there. So if all that water went back there, it would have continued to stage up, be above 12, because they made no provisions to get the water out of there. I'm providing them an opportunity to get the water. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but what is the hesitation for providing a lower outfall elevation for 12? Is it
because of
the
the fact-
sidewalk? Because
because of the
we don't want to get into the DOT right away.
Oh, because the elevation of the sidewalk out at the front of the property, which is my lowest elevation, is 12.
Right, but you can go below it, and a DOT drainage permit will allow you to discharge to the right of way.
But what elevation do you want me to go to?
11.4, you can go lower than that. Your outfall in your structure can be 11.4 to control it, and you can have a pipe that goes into the ditch. It's not a huge ask, right?
It's not, I'll do the best I can. I mean, it's just one of those kind of things where I've been working on this. All I did was redesign this parking lot.
And
I mean, it's kind of like fundamentally, I have a problem with the fact that we just keep going, asking for this stuff. I think I've provided, we're retaining 100% of our stormwater runoff from this piece of property, which was going to the wetland, which is no longer going there, and we've changed the flow of the direction to pop off towards DOT. So we're reducing the amount of impact of our property going towards this wetland area, and I'm trying to overcome the fact that there was poor engineering of this subdivision behind us. So it's kind of frustrating that I'm having to come in and redesign a site to basically make up for mistakes that were done in the past. And I think I'm doing an adequate job of basically mitigating that. And it's like we just keep incrementally asking for more and more and more to make it not necessarily a perfect situation, but I mean, I think we've done a good job. And I think we're going to reduce that impact. It's just that I can't fix the fact that the neighbor's yard is in a wetland. It's in a, I mean, it fills up with water. Right, I mean, he even admits it. It fills up with water.
Right, and I understand that, but I can't get myself to approve an outfall at elevation 12 when I know the elevation of his property is 11.4 and we're trying to help the situation.
But I'm not trying to offset, I'm not trying to fix I don't perceive it as being a problem. That closed basin there fills up with water right now. There is no outlet at 12. We're lowering the outfall right now because right now it stages up beyond 12. Because my property goes up, it goes up from the back, it goes up to the front. So there is no outlet at 12. We're creating a new outlet at 12 where they never had an outlet at 12 before. You see what I'm saying? So we are improving the situation. And I could go back and look at that again and try to adjust it, but I don't know if I can get a whole another half foot. Just because of the fact that I can't change I can't change all of the world, you know what I'm saying? I've got certain constraints I've got to work with. And all I'm just asking is for some sort of reasonable, opportunity here to help. I mean, I realize that, but if it's staged up to, some of the places it's 0.8, 11.8, some of this places 11.4. I mean, we're talking inches on his backyard. That he already has an issue with flooding, because that's why there was a wetland back there in the first place. And we're trying to help. It's like I said, we're reducing the amount of water going there, so that will in itself help his situation. We're directing that water away from his property that was previously going there, and we're providing an outfall at 12 where he never had an outfall at 12. So I think I'm doing a good job of best management practices to help alleviate a situation that we didn't necessarily create.
And I agree, and I think and I appreciate those efforts. I know we've kind of been going back and forth, and I do appreciate that. And I think the neighboring stormwater pond, which I think we'll address outside of this, but I think it contributes to some of that too, because it hadn't been maintained. I think the mattress store or whatever it is. So there's some other things that we're looking at. We just want to make sure we can provide the best solution so that we don't have any issues in the future. So I appreciate your efforts.
I mean, and I totally understand that, and that's what I was trying to work towards, was trying to create a better situation, but I can't necessarily make it so that there is and be honest with you, there's still a remaining wetland. We're only filling a portion of it. if we do what I think what you're asking me to do, we're gonna basically lower it to the point where all the water that was going to that wetland is now gonna be going somewhere else, and you're kind of depriving the wetland of some of its source of water in a crazy kind of way. I mean, I'm not saying that's a great answer, but it's just one of those things where, you know, that's the way the world naturally wants the water to go, and we're gonna try to alleviate the situation and keep the water out of his backyard as best we can. But I just need to get out of this TRC process, because this is the third time I've been here and I've gotten 3 different sets of comments.
Here's what we can do. This can become a major development. And we can go to planning commission, and the neighbors can talk to their commissioners, and you can talk to the commissioners, and we can talk to the commissioners. Or we can stay here at TRC and resolve it here without elevating this project to a major development. And that's what I want to do. These are the
That's
2 options.
Okay, so if that's the case, so if I lower it to 11.5, would that work for you?
I think that would be a lot better than 12, because the highest spot elevation I see on the other side of the fence is 11.8. So-
Okay, well, I'll figure out a way to lower it to 11.5 and we'll make it happen. And I think that's the only comment that we have to deal with.
That's right.
I think it is.
Okay.
And we appreciate that. We are also going to work through code enforcement on the adjacent property to make sure that they are performing the required maintenance on their stormwater pond, so that's not contributing to this problem also. Because, I mean, that, we do think that is a factor.
Okay, so if I do that, can we move this past TRC if I make that one change, and then I can submit my lighting plan and get this thing done with?
I think we can. If you can make that change and create the outfall that Dewberry's asking for, submit the lighting plan, and let's see what we can do.
Okay. Because that's all I'm down to, is to get this approved.
I think that'll make a significant impact.
I think that's it.
Since this is still a minor development, we'll take the opportunity to open a public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience who wish to make a comment about this particular project? Anyone at all? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll entertain a motion.
I'm a little unclear whether you want to move it out of TRC or come back after he resubmits.
I don't think we can move it out of TRC until we see what you provide. So let's continue to February 5th, and let's have that be the
Okay,
final continuation.
I gotta ask you, this process, and I realize I'm trying to be patient here with your process, but we had already had a solution for the stormwater. We already, it's like, I give you one thing, you come back with another thing. I give you something, I try to solve some problems, and this isn't working. I mean, this isn't a continuously revolving, just keep.
Oh, and I agree, but we're going to address this problem, or we're not going to approve this project.
Okay, I mean,
We're going to ask the board to approve it. I mean, it's one or the other.
Well, I mean, there's no reason for the board to approve it. You have a process here to approve this thing.
I understand
I
that.
already had the stormwater approved once. I mean, I think I'm working within the parameters of your code.
This
to get
was originally a
approved.
major development for the first approval. This amendment can be a major development also.
Well, I mean, not threatening me to
I'm
move
not
it to that.
threatening you.
Well,
I'm just telling you what our options are.
I understand
That's what
that.
my options are.
But I mean, I would like a little opportunity to be able to finish this project and get it moving forward without having to come back here every 2 weeks to talk about a different change. I mean, all I'm asking is if I will resubmit the plans with the lower elevation, and then come back here to reiterate that, or can we just move this thing forward?
We're going to come back February 5th. I mean, this is final agency action. I can't tentatively approve something that I haven't seen yet. Just can't do that. Given the nature of what we're addressing and the impact on the adjacent resident.
If I submit that, do I have to come back to this meeting one more time? Can I get some sort of approval from staff to say all the comments have been addressed?
we need to come here and have it formally approved.
Well, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, like I said, I get it on Thursday, and then on Friday I respond, and you know, the timing of it is a little difficult. I will get it back to you ASAP.
And we will make every effort to immediately review it as soon as you get it back to us.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to continue?
Motion to continue.
We have a motion to continue to February 5th at 8:30 a.m. in this location. For the
Second.
pending- Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Motion's carried. We look forward to the resubmittal and the final appearance for this project at TRC. Okay, we're going to move to item number 5, Seashells on the Beach PUD Phase 6.
Yes, this is a minor development or application submitted by Henderson Engineering and Consulting requesting approval to construct an entrance road, utilities, and divide the parcel into 4 commercial lots on 6 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. It's located on the south side of Highway 98, east of Sandy K Drive and west of St. John's Court. We have comments from planning, engineering,
I think that's it.
Public Works. So have not gotten comments from fire today. With that, I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Good morning, John Henderson, Henderson Engineering. I'm here with the owner too, Scott McLean. I had a couple of questions. The number 4, the planning department comments, no curb cut. That definite? We've got so much traffic coming out of this phase that we can't divert that through the bank and on Sandy K. This phase of the project generates more traffic than the rest of the PUD combined. They were all vested trips from the 2008 amended PUD. Just looking at some of the traffic, all the single-family homes and the condo coming out Sandy K are only 1,589 daily trips. We're generating 4,471 daily trips, about 3 times the traffic that's coming out of Sandy K right now. The Dollar General has a curb cut. They generate 859 daily trips. Again, we're at 4,471 daily trips. The bank has a curb cut. They generate 1,563 daily trips. Again, we're at 3 times that. There's going to be 4 lots, and one of them is likely to be a hotel, and another one's likely to be a restaurant. And without direct access into these uses, people are going to be driving back and forth on 98 looking for their driveways. So I really don't think that not having an access to 98 is going to be a good option. There are no more turn lanes on 98. They got rid of those when they did the 6-laning. There's one down in front of Miramar Plaza. I think that's Driftwood Drive. There's not one at Sandy K now. There's not one at the Dollar General. The DOT's not requesting for us to put one in. I've submitted the DOT permit application. I've received comments from the DOT, and I've addressed all their comments. So I'm just awaiting the permit right now for the DOT driveway. Oh, yeah, we've got over 500 feet of frontage.
563 feet of frontage.
Would you be opposed to connecting to the bank property just
Oh,
to
no, we are
provide
connecting
that?
to the bank.
Okay.
We're connecting to both sides.
Yeah, we're not opposed to Sandy K either. So we'll provide connections. It's just having extra curb.
We've had other developments over the years that have had conditions that we do connect to Sandy K, in addition to having the curb cut. We've gone to their neighborhood association meetings, we've presented to them, and we've been denied access to Sandy K more than once. So, you know, this is something, the county deeded the road to them, so it's not something we can actually deal with. If we get access to Sandy K, we're not opposed to it, but we have 563 feet. Everything that we're doing with this property is conditioned on having a curb cut. John had said, I don't think the number of trips that we're going to generate being 3 times what Sandy K has, those folks aren't going to want us just going through there. The property actually had a curb cut on it when we purchased it. It was not acceptable for this means, but it was a curb cut there. When the DOT did their project, they relocated it. And all that they're asking is that we have another one if we relocate it to our spot to give them access to their easement.
Any thoughts? Yeah, I'd like to
Are you
touch on a
proposing to
couple
bring
more.
back the individual projects for separate development orders?
Yes. That goes into some of the other comments too, I'd like to discuss.
Yeah, and the hotelier that has made an offer to buy the back portion of the property, I think they're preparing their application to come in front of you.
Yeah, this is just a commercial subdivision. Every property will come in for a separate development order.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I think that clears up a lot of my stormwater concerns, being that each lot will come in separately.
Well, no,
and
I'll
provide-
get into
Okay,
that as
all
well.
right.
The overall project had a stormwater plan.
Right.
Phase 6 had a linear stormwater pond along the Gulf Power right-of-way. And so we're proposing that was never constructed. There's a pipe coming out of Sandy K that's supposed to tie into it. It ties everything together. There's a DOT pop-off in front of the Dollar General store. So everything's already been approved. I've got all the PUD documents and stuff, so I can give you all the old stormwater calculations, and I can break down what was required in Phase 6. So. All your comments are pretty simple. I can address all
Right,
that, as
it was
well as
just
the traffic.
providing the
too.
historical
Yeah.
data that backs up the development. But
The main thing is
in
this
regard to the
driveway.
in regards to the driveway, Mac, I think they've kind of got their hands tied with Sandy K unless the property owners association lets them.
And once they allow that, or if the county takes
Yeah.
it over, we don't have a problem connecting.
We're going to have that discussion with them.
But even with that connection, I think we need our own curb cut, just because, you know, the level of development in this phase. While y'all are thinking about that, I had a couple other questions about the scenic corridor. One of the comments was to provide a landscape plan and show the scenic corridor landscape buffer. I can show the buffer. I'd rather wait and defer the landscape plan and any requirements from the DRB until we do develop the front parcels. Because, I mean, we're going to have architectural guidelines as well. And just to go for them, you know, for the landscaping requirements, and then have to come back for the other two front parcels to do the, I guess, re-review the landscape and then review the architectural. Seems like a extra step.
Buffer's approved with the subdivision. I mean, when you come in.
I can show the.
Typically, we think of a residential subdivision, but you're required to show the buffer at that point this is a commercial subdivision, so
I
that.
can show the buffer but the planning requirements and stuff, I'd rather wait. I can show the buffer, but
Well, I know it'll be installed when those lots come in
Yeah.
for development, but the
It makes more
buffer's
sense.
approved with the subdivision.
What if you never build a subdivision?
well, then we wouldn't have to build the buffer. We wouldn't have anything to buffer.
That would be our problem.
There wouldn't be anything to buffer if there's no development.
Plan to provide landscaping for the entrance road? I mean, what's it gonna look like when you're done?
It's gonna look like Sandy K. Right next door. I mean, when we have the road in, it's just gonna be a road until they develop the parcels, and then you'll have architecture, landscaping, and everything that's required in the scenic corridor. Right now, we're just doing a road and utilities. And like I said, as far as the dimensions, I can show the buffer because we do have a linear retention pond up against that property line, and I know there's encroachment, requirements and stuff into the landscape buffer, so I can show all that and show the dimensions. I'm just requesting that we defer the planning requirements to when we have to go back, for each lot. And there is an opportunity. We'll have to do the DRB for each of the lots. It just seems like it's
That'd
an
be a
extra
DRB
step.
for this project also.
Well, that's what it says, and that's what I'm asking if we can bypass that.
Sir, we cannot. Every project in the scenic corridor has to go to the design review.
Okay.
In fact, every other project coming into the scenic corridor will be a major development from this point forward. This one, we allowed it to be a minor development. We thought we had taken out all of those requirements. We left one in there that we just found.
So we have to show the plantings and the landscape buffer, and we're gonna have to install the plantings in the scenic corridor landscape buffer
DRB
before.
may ask you to do that.
It's all gonna be destroyed when we build the projects. I mean, the landscaping's the last thing you do when you build a project.
I understand
We're gonna go
that,
in there
but
and put the landscaping in first, and then pave the parking lot and build the building, and it's all gonna get,
you can make your case at the DRB. But we have to do what they decide. But just be prepared for that when we go there. And we do have to go.
There's one other question that I had. It's about the interior setbacks. I was wondering if there's any way to have some flexibility on those interior setbacks. I know the perimeter setbacks are required, the commercial.
You'd have to amend the PUD, because the PUD is based on that being one lot. So now you're dividing it into four. That requirement is still in the PUD, so you would have to amend it to.
Yeah, I knew there was flexibilities with not having to provide landscape buffers in between the
Yeah,
different
on the
users and
southern-
a mixed use.
Right, on the southern property line where that retention pond is, there's no requirement for a buffer because it's a mixed-use development. You don't have to buffer between the mixed uses, so there's no requirement in the back.
No, I was thinking in between the 4 lots.
Well, true, you wouldn't have to do it there either,
That's why I was asking if we could have some
but
flexibility.
those setbacks are in the PUD, and they're based on that being one lot, not 4. So the only thing I know you could do with that is amend the PUD.
That would be difficult.
Probably not, but it would be a major development to go through the process. I mean, they've amended it in the past. I don't know why it couldn't be amended again. A longer process. That's the only way I know to change that, because the PUD is just not set up for those to be 4 individual lots.
I saw in the PUD it had some flexibility for the residents, the lots. They reduced the setbacks on those.
Yeah, and the
Didn't
board,
mention
the
any of the
BCC
commercial.
approved that.
Yeah, And they didn't mention anything about commercial setbacks.
Adjust the setback here, I mean, we gotta take it to the BCC, because staff doesn't have the authority to vary from the code, unless it specifically gives the director that authority.
Well, I think that's it for me, except for the curb cut.
I think probably, given the intensity of this particular project, it support its own curb cut, subject to cross-access to the two adjacent opportunities. The county's gonna work on the opportunity on the west side, if you all agree to connect to that, if we have that opportunity.
Yes, we would, and we just need some flexibility on where we connect on that west side. I would respectfully request that we not be required to align with wherever, if you get Dollar General to connect, wherever they connect may be different than we need to connect. And we need flexibility not to have to offset their connection with our connection, because it may kill our entire western development, given what you allow them to do. So I just want to make sure that we're not tied to whatever you get them to do.
Right. Right now, we're not addressing the Dollar General because that one is already developed. At some point, yes, it would make sense for them to have a curb cut on Sandy K. For all of their customers that live to the south, potential customers. But that, we're not going to address that yet. So I think there is flexibility as far as the location of that, that cross-access connection. I think we can work with that. Yeah, and we agree with that. The more circulation we can have without getting out on major roadways, the better it is for all of our public and all of us that are trying to manage those impacts.
I agree with that,
Agree
Mayor.
with that?
I do.
Yeah, you okay with that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much address our comments.
That's everything I have. Everything else is very minor.
Yeah, from engineering standpoint, my stuff's minor, just
I just provide the
the
documents.
documents
Yeah.
from the previous PUD design is basically
Is close enough to conditionally approve it, subject to resubmittal?
I think so. My comments are relatively minor. I mean, they are gonna have to, it's gonna affect how they're gonna design with those setbacks, but the setbacks are, set in the PUD, but in terms of dividing it to 4 lots, it's really not gonna have any effect on that part. It's just when you, lots, so yeah, I think we can move it forward.
Do we have a recommended motion?
A motion to approve the project pending resolution of all outstanding comments and move it forward to the Design Review Board.
so moved.
We have a motion at the dais. Since this is presently a minor development, we're going to take the opportunity to open a public hearing and invite any comment from anyone in the audience. Anyone wishing to make a comment? Yes, sir. Could you come to the podium and state your name for the record?
I'm here as my name's William Flynn, a resident in Paradise Retreat. And I'm with the developers. I'm opposed to the curb cut going into Sandy K. I think 4,000 additional cars. I don't know that we have that confirmed, but a possibility of 4,000 additional cars per day is going to be a huge impact on the community, and I hope we'll have another hearing for that part.
And that's why we're allowing them to have their
Okay.
own curb cut.
The second-
So that all of that would not be channeled on Sandy K.
The second comment I'd like to make is I hope we can hold the developers a little bit more accountable for the landscaping than we did on the last one, which was the dollar store. If we look at that, that's, I sat in that meeting and we spent 20 minutes talking about the oak trees. There are no oak trees. We spent all the time talking about what was required, but nothing has been maintained. Most of it's not there anymore, and there's not much of a buffer there. I'm okay with And I think most of the homeowners are okay with them subdividing that into 4 parts, but we'd like to see some landscaping to protect our values and have another hearing if we're going to have a curb cut into Sandy K. I appreciate your time.
Each one of those lots would have its own development order, and we would address the landscaping at that particular time.
Okay.
I mean, they can't do anything other than build the road under the access road under this particular development.
And I have another comment that I was hearing people in here. I know Mac, and I know some people here, but a lot of people in there are saying, "Who's that? Who's that?" It'd be nice if you had names up there for the people that are up here, so that we could refer back and possibly write some emails.
That's
Anyway,
probably a good
that's it.
suggestion.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can I make a comment real quick? One thing about the landscaping that I'd like to address is we are in a 100-foot Gulf Power right-of-way where the scenic corridor is. They have landscaping, I wouldn't say requirements, but they have a lot of things that you're allowed to do and not allowed to do in their right-of-way.
Yes, we recognize that dynamic tension between the utility company that controls the Gulf Power.
Large canopy trees and power lines usually don't
Our
mix.
desire to landscape beyond what they allow us to do. Unfortunately, utility companies in Florida have state law authority to come in and cut whatever they want to cut for in their opinion, of a safety improvement. Come to my house. I got a beautiful oak tree.
Like this?
And destroyed.
Yeah,
I just cut off half of it.
yeah.
It doesn't fall over on my house. But we struggle with that. That's absolutely one of the things that our lobbyist is working for also.
Tell them to work on spraying the right-of-way, just to kill with a herbicide. I mean, they just spray the rights-of-way and just kill everything. I mean, all down Mac Bayou Road, they're just spraying and, yeah, it's running out in the bayous and stuff, and
I don't disagree with you on that.
that's another point.
We still have the public hearing open. Is there anyone else that wishes to make a comment about this particular project? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and we'll entertain the motion. We have a motion on the table. And that is to conditionally approve this project, subject to each individual lot coming back for its own development order. And the opportunity for the cross-access if that becomes available.
Second that motion.
We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the Design Review Board to satisfaction of the outstanding comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. This moves us to item number 6, Rosa Dune Subdivision Plat. Tim, if you could introduce that one for us.
Yes, thank you. This is a minor plat application submitted by Barnhill Civil Planning requesting approval to plat 4 residential lots on .56 acres with a future land use of residential and a zoning of neighborhood infill. It's located at the northeast corner of County Road 30A and Rue du Soleil. This project was held up by a restoration plan. After this project was approved, they went in there and removed every stitch of green on the property. So through code enforcement, the county required them to do a restoration plan, and while they were going through that process, this plat was put on hold. Well, now they've gotten the restoration plan approved. They also got a setback variance approved through the ZBA because the house was encroaching into the eastern landscape buffer, so all that's been approved, so now we can move forward with the plat. So there's outstanding planning, environmental and floodplain and public works comments. That applicant to turn it over to. Quite a few comments. I'm not sure whether we want to move it out of TRC or continue it to the next meeting. Most of them are relatively minor, changing commission chair, changing years, changing, getting the right road name. Scott Rosenheim, the county surveyor, does have a number of Chapter 177 comments, so what's the wishes of the committee?
You know, typically, we don't review plats, but looking at the comments, I think we ought to continue this to give them an opportunity to put together a decent plat for us to look at and alleviate some of these comments.
I'm not sure. I believe they did resubmit on, may be wrong, but I think I saw where they resubmitted, but I'll make that recommendation that we continue it to the February 5th TRC meeting. Do we think 2 weeks is enough?
Anybody here representing the applicant? I'd like to think they could turn this around in 2 weeks, given
Okay, we'll recommend
has to be
continuing it to
redesigned.
February
It's
5th.
it's all labeling and
Minimum technical standards.
subject to them being able to produce the homeowners association documents. Given how long this project has been working to get to this point,
Yeah, this project came in August 8th, 2018. Year and a half.
and the struggle to try to get control so we could get to the platting stage. Given what happened in '08 and '09.
Chair, I'll make a motion that we continue this to the February 5th if that's going to be sufficient for you.
Let's see what they can do.
I'll make a motion to continue to February 5th.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Likewise. This item is continued to February 5th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. in this location. This brings us to item number 7, the Grand Inlet Plat. And if we could add plat to the title of this item when we go forward, that'll make that a little bit more clear.
I think I fixed that already, Mr. Chair, but I'll double check it
Okay.
as soon as I get back.
It's been reviewed by Bob. Bob, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is a plat application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates Incorporated on behalf of Scenic Highway Partners requesting approval to plat 4 lots on 1.7 plus or minus acres. The property has a future land use of residential and the zoning of neighborhood infill. The project is located on the north side of Park Place West from the intersection of US Highway 98 East and south to Walton Lakeshore Drive. It's identified by the parcel number in your staff report. Mr. Chair, there are just some minor comments that I think the applicant could address easily and submit them. And, yeah, the agent is here to answer any additional questions, so I'll turn it over to the agent.
Good morning, Darrell Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. We did, of the comments we've received so far, the only one that I believe is directly applicable to the plat is to add the flood zone. We have done so. The others are a matter of providing
cost estimates, which we're actually going to go the route of completed construction, articles of incorporation, and permits, stormwater and ERP, all of which we are assembling and uploading to the portal. If we do receive any further comments, we will, of course, address those as well, but feel like we can make this resubmittal in a matter of just a few business days.
Okay. I would like, Bob, if you would address one additional item in the final staff report for this plat, just confirm consistency with the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan. I mean, based on just glancing at it, I think it is, but since this is within that particular area, and that's another layer of the Land Development Code, if we could just add a statement in there that confirms that consistency.
Do that, Mr. Chair. And also, there's a comment, just the rec fee will be provided, it has been provided to the applicant.
Right. Very well.
I think this one can be conditionally moved forward to the BCC, subject to satisfaction of all these comments.
Well, conditionally approved, pending resubmittal, and then to the Mylar, and then once I receive the signed Mylar, then move it to the appropriate BCC for their consideration.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second that.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Aye.
Opposed likewise? This item is conditionally moved forward, subject to those satisfaction of the comments and production of the Mylar.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have anything else this morning? That's our last project. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.